This episode is brought to you by Google Chrome. You think you know a browser, but Gemini and Chrome? That's new. It can help you with practically anything on the web, like restoring a vintage motorcycle from a 50-page restoration blog, or finally break down that long article you've had open for weeks. Gemini and Chrome is here for it. Ready to make anything online make sense? There's no place like Chrome. Check responses, setup required, compatibility and availability varies, 18+.
And we're live from the living room as Doug eyes up the matchday spread. He's reaching for the Buffalo wing. Perfect. Hang on, what's this? Oh, he's gone for a can of Pepsi too. Incredible. What a finish. Sensational combination. Look at the delight on his face. There's no doubt about it. It just tastes better. Match days deserve Pepsi. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a pack of Pepsi Zero Sugar for today's match. It's poetry in motion.
One of the first things we realized traveling through Europe was that almost everything felt different. People stood closer together. Meals lasted longer. Buses somehow kept finding room for more people. Most of the places we stayed were apartments instead of hotels, but we quickly learned that air conditioning wasn't nearly as common as this back home. People walked everywhere. Public transportation wasn't an inconvenience, it was simply a way of life. And yes, many of the public restrooms didn't even have toilet seats. After a while, I caught myself thinking, they do everything differently here. Then another thought hit me. Different doesn't mean wrong. This is Summit After the Storm podcast, and I'm Bart Wilbanks. When we travel, we expect to see different buildings, different places, experience different food, hear different languages. What surprised me was how many everyday assumptions I carry with me without even realizing it. Things I simply believed were normal until I discovered that they were only normal where I lived. Every country seemed to have its own rhythm. People weren't in as much of a hurry. Dinner often started when we'd normally be getting ready for bed. Public transportation was simply a part of life. Families lingered over meals. Walking wasn't exercise, it was transportation. And at first I found myself comparing everything to America. Almost keeping score. This is better. This is worse, This makes no sense. Then I realized something. Europe wasn't trying to be America, and America wasn't trying to be Europe. We were simply seeing life through different lenses. One of the greatest barriers to growth is believing that our way is the only way. Travel has a way of exposing that. Not by proving us wrong or them wrong, but by reminding us that there are often multiple ways to solve the same problem. I learned something similar on Kilimanjaro. The guides climbed differently than I would have. Poly, slowly, steadily. And at first it felt too slow, but I realized their way got people to the summit. Sometimes wisdom looks different than we expect. James chapter 1 verse 19 reminds us, everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Maybe before deciding whether something is right or wrong, we should first seek to understand it. This lesson reaches far beyond travel. The best leaders don't assume, they ask, they listen, they stay curious. Different generations think differently. Different cultures communicate differently. Different teams solve problems differently. The leader who can appreciate those differences becomes a stronger leader because of them. Europe didn't change my love for America. If anything, it deepened my appreciation for home and some of the things that we have. But it also reminded me that I don't have a monopoly on good ideas. Sometimes the greatest gift another culture gives us isn't a new answer, but it's a better question. Where in your life have you confused different with wrong? Maybe the next lesson that God wants to teach you will come from someone who sees the world differently than you do. If this episode encouraged you, I'd love for you to follow Summit After the Storm podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, YouTube, or whatever platform you're listening on. Season 4 follows our family's journey across Europe, discovering timeless lessons from history, culture, faith, leadership, and family. Every destination has a story, and every story has a lesson. Until next time, keep climbing. Poly poly.